Hi, Thunder Battalion. It's time for the word of the day. The word of the day today is river. I've been talking with a lot of soldiers the last few days and over the past few months especially about loss and grieving. And loss can take many forms. The obvious one is the death of a loved one, but you can also have things like losing a role, some position that you hold in your life, whatever that may be, or the dying of a dream, something that you wanted to do someday, and that no longer becomes a possibility. Or even the loss of abilities, of your health, of property or money. And I bet that all of you here have experienced some type of loss and are probably going through some type of loss right now. Whether that's longing for a loved one back home, missing your children who think that you're a superhero, leaving behind friends and family and confidants, and all of that stuff that we're familiar with that gives us comfort. And when we face loss, grief is the natural response. A lot of you have probably heard of the 5 stages of grief: denial, anger, bargaining, depression, and acceptance. They're made famous by Dr. Elizabeth Kubler-Ross back in the late 60s, and she did it while she was observing people that were dying of tuberculosis, and she noted these 5 emotions that most of the people tended to go through, and a lot of them were similar. And I think that we tend to think of these stages as a linear process. At first, you're going to go through denial, and then you're going to get angry, and then you'll bargain, and so forth. And you'll move through these 5, just passing them like mile markers on a highway in an order. And then even better, if you can race through it, you'll be done with it faster, and it'll be done and behind you, and you won't feel uncomfortable anymore. But that's never how Dr. Kubler-Ross intended it to be. She said it's different for everybody. It's unpredictable. I think a better way to think about grief and how we navigate grief is more like a river. It powerfully meanders through our life, making twists and turns here and there. At times, it's straight and quick, and you move right past some things. At other times, it's rough, and you struggle a lot, like water going over a rapids. Sometimes you face unexpected turns, stuff you didn't foresee happening. And then when you think you're in the clear, a picture, a song, a smell, some memory brings the fullness of your pain back to the front of your mind. The good news about this, Thunder Battalion, is that all of this is normal. With very few exceptions, we eventually learn to live with our grief rather than fight against it. I read an article today in preparation for this in Psychology Today, and they kind of concluded by saying, if we tell ourselves this will never end, I'm weak for feeling like this, I'm going crazy, or some other negative statement, we'll wind up making things needlessly worse. If we instead reassure ourselves this is normal and it won't last forever, it's going to be easier for us to honor our loss without added burdens. All of us are going to face loss. A lot of us are facing loss right now from one degree to another. We're all going to experience grief. We have and we will continue to experience grief. But grief is a blessing to us born out of our love for others. While yes, it's sometimes uncomfortable and burdensome, it's completely normal and it eventually subsides. If you're the Bible-believing type, I'd encourage you to read Isaiah chapter 43, verses 1 through 5, and find some encouragement there. Otherwise, just be encouraged that our grief is an expression of love for someone, and it's mourning that this person or this thing is no longer with us. Be encouraged today. It's going to get better, Thunder Battalion. Take care.